In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up your watch ready for treadmill running. Now you can use things like Zwift, and if you're using something like this or Peloton, then you may see some information which is useful from that app. However, it won't sync up with your Garmin in the same way. By setting up correct auto-lapping, data screens, and different other options, we can get the best out of your treadmill runs, and I can then see the information to give you the best possible results for your training plan or coaching. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up your treadmill running fields. We're going to hit the top start button here and head into treadmill option. Now again, I've kept this really simple for treadmill running. Essentially, the information you're going to get from your treadmill is going to differ enormously from your watch. Even using something like Zwift, you're going to get some inaccurate information and differences between the two things. So I want to focus on what the treadmill says, trust that. Even don't think it's necessarily perfect, at least you can be consistent with that information. So the two screens I've got here, and I do keep this really simple, active calories, just out of pure curiosity, and then time of day. That's the main thing I want to see when it comes to it at the start point. And then we're going to go down into our main section. So here we've got our heart rate gauge. Again, I'm never going to trust this enormous on a heart rate watch, but again, I sometimes use my heart rate strap, so that might be more useful and give us more accurate information. Lap cadence, this is one of the things we can impact. Running style on the treadmill does tend to vary from each side, so you might see a drop in cadence or step rate, which we want to keep an eye on. Often a lot of people are stepping a little bit slower than they maybe could be as well anyway, so this is useful information to have on here when we can focus on the screen and other things actually on the treadmill itself. Lap time can be quite useful, so if you're running on time rather than distance for your laps, seeing this information here on the screen can be really useful. And then ultimately the number of laps as well. Now you may or may not use this one because obviously every time you do it through your warm-up laps, it will also count. However, if you know that you're going to go through 2 miles on laps, then you don't need to actually hit this button at all, especially if you turn the auto lap feature off. I would also say within your treadmill running section, we do want to change those settings overall. So aside from those data screens, I want to go into your treadmill settings here and want to go down to auto lap, and I would say turn that off and have that as manual only. The main reason for this is that the automatic lap on the treadmill will say different to what the watch will say. So the treadmill may have well gone through over a mile and your watch might say you've only done 0.9 of a mile, or again kilometres if you're in kilometres. By turning off this feature, you're not going to be distracted by it, so you do just need to make sure you're paying attention to the distance overall and then just hit this lap button every now and again. Otherwise it does make it quite straightforward and it means you get much more useful information. So once you've turned that off, we're going back into our main settings. You can see our data screens here. As I mentioned before, I've shown you in the data screen video how to set these up, so you shouldn't need the tuition on here. However, it's pretty straightforward. So again, you would head back into your settings here, go to data screens, and then you've got your options to set these, reorder them. Other information here you can add in. You can add as many data screens as you want on here as well.